Germantown campus, Montgomery College Television is proud to present MC Baseball with the Raptors welcoming the Gators from Thomas Nelson Community College. Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Brown, and as always, it is my pleasure to welcome in my partner, Marcus Rosano. Marcus, great to be back together again. I know we're both looking forward to a great game on a beautiful day.
It is beautiful out, and I'm excited to be alongside the voice of Montgomery College athletics, but probably not as excited as Thomas Nelson Community College to be playing on television today.
Well, that's for sure. Now, believe it or not, Marcus, counting today's game, the Raptors have just 9 games left in the regular season. Those 9 games are all packed into 1 week. They've got a week of doubleheaders ahead against Maryland JUCO opponents. They start with Chesapeake, then Allegheny, then Anne Arundel. All 3 of those teams are a little bit down this year, but then they end the regular season on the road against a very tough Frederick team, currently number 4 in the NJCAA D2 national ranking. So tough way to end the season. Then they move right into the postseason. Up first, the Region 20 tournament. It's going to be hosted by Prince George's Community College this year. And let's take a look at how things are going to stack up for the Raptors in the Region 20 tournament. On paper, it looks like they should be the favorite.
No, you're right, Michael. On paper, MC is the favorite. You have PG and you have Westmoreland, and make no mistake about it, PG is going to have Montgomery College's bullseye on its back, because last year, we all remember what happened in the Region 20, and MC lost to Westmoreland and MC lost to PG. That doesn't make for happy things around here come tournament time this year, and I'm sure that the Raptors are going to remember that.
Well, that is for sure. Now, should they win the Region 20 tournament, they have a new hurdle to clear before they get to the World Series. The NJCAA has made a change, and they have determined that the Region 20 champion, who we hope would be the Raptors, would then take on the Region 10 champion in a best-of-3 district tournament playoff. So let's take a look at Region 10 and look at some of the teams that the Raptors might be playing.
Yeah, there's a couple of hurdles to get over before you get to the World Series. And we have some teams that we don't really know much about. We have Rockingham, we have Danville, we have the College of Albemarle, and they're all mediocre on paper, but you never know. In a 3-game series, that's very important, because you're going to have 3 arms if you're going to advance, to the World Series, and it's an interesting plot twist to the tournament season this year.
That is for sure. It's a new step. Now, should the Raptors win the first ever district for them, they would advance to the World Series. That would be the 8th time in Dan Rasher's 10 years here at Montgomery College that they have advanced to the World Series. And listen, after not making it last year, that has been a prime motivator for this team this year. They want to get back.
Well, we've been to the World Series 7 out of 9 years. Since we've been here, every class has experienced the World Series at least once, and we need to get back there this year so the kids from last year's team can say that they've gone to the World Series.
Well, Marcus, as you and I well know, Dan Rasher has never had a team go 2 years in a row without going to the World Series.
Michael, I think we are probably the ones who are reminding Dan Rasher of them not making the World Series last year. And you're right, he's never had a class of 2 years that hasn't made it to the World Series. So it's very important to the sophomores this year to get to the World Series.
Well, I'll tell you, their road is not going to be easy, however. And over the last couple of weeks, they've been bitten by the injury and the illness bug. Antonio Pino, one of the co-captains of the team, a guy that I know you and I consider to be the emotional heart of this team, he's been out. One of the key infield backups, Brant Petrie, he's been out. And then we have star center fielder Tyler Coleman. He came down with an illness a couple of weeks ago. He hasn't played in 2 weeks, and not coincidentally, the team has struggled a bit since he's been out. Now, Dan Rasher hates to have any player hurt and out of the lineup, but Tyler Coleman, how do you replace that production?
Well, you're trying to replace the first ever freshman that ever made an All-American team for Dan Rasher. Tyler Coleman was hitting .386, 6 home runs, 31 RBIs. He leads the team in triples. He scored 25 runs. So obviously, him and Pino at the top are the catalyst for this heavy-hitting Raptors team. But then you want to look at the defensive side. He roams the outfield, and in his junior college career, last year and this year, in center field, he has made 0 errors. So you can't even replace defensively Tyler Coleman.
Boy, that is for sure, and it's appropriate that you end your analysis there with defense, because I think that is another key to this team getting back to the World Series. Now, the Raptors can and do play very solid defense most of the time, but when they don't, when they lose focus, it hurts them.
Yeah, we saw against Stevenson, they can really pick it. Eddie Peguero at shortstop was playing some good ball. However, there's some times when the wheels tend to fall off. They're fielding .956 this year. I think they made 36 errors. That's not great. And if you're going to get to the World Series and you're going to compete, forget the World Series. You're going to win regions, you're going to win districts, and then get to the World Series. You got to field the baseball. And I know for a fact, and you do as well, that Dan Rasher, that drives him absolutely crazy.
It sure does. Well, a lot for us to focus on today with the Raptors in today's game. They're taking on Thomas Nelson. It's a relatively new baseball program, but they are on the rise, and we're going to talk a lot more about them as the game unfolds. Our first pitch is just moments away. Stick with us. Marcus and I will be right back with the starting lineups after this. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration, so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
Welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner Marcus Rosano, and we are just about ready for the first pitch of the game between Montgomery College and the Gators from Thomas Nelson Community College. Marcus, let's take a look at the Raptors' defense.
Okay, from left to right in the outfield, in left field is Corey Durkin. In center field is John Hanley, Chris Heckhouse in right. Stuart Paz is at third base. Gus Gill is today at shortstop with Eddie Peguero at second base and Brooks Carson rounding out the infield at first. Jerry Chavarria is behind the plate, and it's Sam Shyman, the crafty lefty, on the mound.
And, the outstanding thing about Sam Shyman as we look at his stats, 73 innings pitched. 11 appearances.
Well, he's got more wins than anybody on the team with 4, 27 strikeouts, and a 3.33 ERA. So he's definitely a workhorse. He sees a lot of action.
All right, and now let's take a look at the batting order for Thomas Nelson.
And leading off, Julian Grant. Batting second, the left fielder, Caleb Landrum. Batting third, the former D1 player, Jaleel Sewer at center field. Hunter Triplett is a shortstop. He's batting cleanup. Teddy Backer is the third baseman batting sixth. Batting seventh is Julian White, the DH. Batting eighth, the second baseman, is Caleb Hertzler. And batting ninth is the first baseman, Trevor Lett. And as you can see, actually batting ninth would be number 42, Anthony Williams, at catcher.
And their starting pitcher today is Russell Hall, and we don't know a whole lot about Thomas Nelson, but we do know that Russell Hall is their number one starter and a very hard thrower. And we are all set to get underway. Julian Grant leading off for Thomas Nelson against Sam Shyman.
And I'm glad to hear that their number one starter is going today against MC.
So Julian Grant steps in. And he's a freshman. He's actually a Marylander. He's out of Lexington Park. And he's playing right field today. Bats right, throws right, lays one down right out in front of the plate. Shyman on it for the out at first.
Obviously, Julian trying to use his speed to get on the base paths for the first time.
He is a very speedy runner. We're going to get another look at this play here. Cleanly handled by Shyman, takes his time for the easy out. So that brings up Landrum. And he takes a ball outside. This is Caleb Landrum, sophomore outfielder from Hampton, Virginia. We'll be talking more about Thomas Nelson as the game goes on, but they are from the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. And he fouls it off.
And he's another one of these bats left, throws right guys that you see a lot. And that starts really early, even though you're a natural righty, you know, dads and big brothers. And
hard ground ball to third, cleanly handled by Paz. Nice play.
They get you turn around to bat lefty. Nice play by Stuart Paz. Picked it right off the short hop.
Yeah, that was not an easy play. He hit the ball hard and on the short hop, as you said. That brings up number 13, Jaleel Sewer. And according to his head coach, Chad Smith, he is a legitimate D1 prospect.
Transfer from Longwood.
I wonder if he played with Brooks Carson of the Raptors, because the Raptors' first baseman, Brooks Carson, is also a transfer from Longwood. And he fouls another one off. Shyman is not overpowering, but throws a lot of breaking stuff, right, Marcus?
You know, if he can keep the ball, location, when you're a guy that doesn't throw super hard. Plus, he's a lefty, so.
Ooh, he just hit Sewer.
And I'm not sure if he was trying to move him back or he didn't have any bite on that breaking ball.
I think it was the latter. I can't imagine with 2 strikes. He doesn't look happy with himself. I think he just didn't have the bite on it. That brings up the cleanup hitter, number 8, Hunter Triplett. He fouls it right back towards us. And Triplett is also another transfer for Thomas Nelson. He transferred in from Norfolk State. And he is also considered the top power hitter on the team. Right on the corner for a strike.
Sewer can't get too big of a lead with Sam Shyman, the lefty, looking over to him.
And Chavarria with a good arm behind the plate as well. So 2-2, 2 outs. We're in the top of the first inning. Coming to you on a kind of cool but very beautiful day here on the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Curveball just misses.
And Sam Shyman, the Linganore High School product, wanted that backdoor breaking ball to be called, but he's not going to get it. As we can see, we have a perfect vantage point, about 6 inches off the plate.
Here's the pitch, foul ball. Off the front of the Raptors dugout.
It's nice to see for Thomas Nelson and Coach Smith to have, 4-year players transferring. If you get to the 4 years program, you don't like your playing time or it's just not the right fit, there's a fallback, and that's good. And we've seen it here at Montgomery College, and that's a talent-rich base down there in Newport News and Hampton.
Hard ground ball to Paz. He bobbles, picks it up, throws. Plenty of time for the out. So Paz just kept his cool, stayed with it, and gets it over to first. And Sam Shyman pitches a scoreless top of the first. We're getting ready to go into the bottom half. And as the Gators take the defensive take the field for the first time on defense, let's set their alignment on defense.
And in left field, Landrum. Center, Sewer. Right field is Grant. Third baseman, Backer. Triplett at shortstop, Hertzler at second base, and the first baseman is Lett. Behind the plate is Williams, and as we talked about, Russell Hall is on the mound.
He's 2-3 on the year with a 3.43 ERA. Of course, the head coach for Thomas Nelson is Chad Smith. He's in his fourth year. His assistant is Michael Moore. And now let's set the batting order for the Raptors.
Leading off, Chris Heckhouse. Batting second, Mitch Spilly, the DH. Batting third, shortstop Gus Gill. Batting cleanup, big first baseman Brooks Carson. The catcher, Jerry Chavarria, is batting fifth. The second baseman, Eddie Peguero, is batting sixth. Matt Durkin is in left field, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Stuart Paz, the third baseman, and the center fielder is John Hanley, and he's batting ninth.
And, of course, the head coach for the Raptors is Dan Rasher. He's in his 10th year, and we are very happy to see that coaching first base today for the first time this season, or actually the first time since early in the season, is John Silk. John was battling a pretty serious illness, but he is a tough customer, and he's back out there, and it's great to see John out there. He's been with Dan Rasher from the very beginning. He's a great guy and a great coach, and I know everybody's happy to see him back on the sidelines.
And that's excellent. The consistency at the coaching staff is where it all starts here for the Montgomery College baseball program, that's for sure.
Boy, that is for sure. Of course, John is he's considered the assistant head coach. He is also the hitting coach for the Raptors, so he serves a lot of roles here. And so Chris Heckhouse leading off now for the Raptors. And Chris is a freshman out of Seneca Valley High School, a criminal justice major.
Russell Hall has a huge windup. He's not a big guy, but he's got a really, really long windup. Reaches all the way back.
Heckhouse is hitting 300 on the season so far. He leads the team in bases on balls. He's got 16 walks, scored 18 runs for the Raptors with a 430 on base percentage. So he's a good guy to have in there at the top of the order. Of course, he's replacing Antonio Pino as the leadoff hitter for the Raptors.
And that's not easy to replace Antonio Pino.
Boy, that is for sure. And
guy hovers around 400 in his career.
Pino should be back soon. And they have definitely missed his bat, his leadership, and his fielding. So
Hall found a couple of spots with his fastball. See if he sets him up with a curve here.
And there's a line drive single into left field over the outstretched glove there.
And a nice piece of hitting by Heckhouse, because that curveball didn't have too much break, and Heckhouse kind of opened up on it. Even though he got it in on the hands, he was able to push it past the third baseman.
Well, that brings up Mitch Spilly, and with Coleman out of the lineup, this is probably the most dangerous hitter the Raptors could send up there.
Boy, what a surprise from Lake Braddock, Virginia for Coach Rasher this year, and Mitch Spilly. We saw him against Stevenson, and they couldn't get him out. They could hardly keep him in the park.
Yeah, he had a home run that day, a couple of doubles, and he pops one up, foul behind us. Yeah, Mitch Spilly is leading the team with a 432 batting average. He's leading the team with 48 hits. That's a lot of hits, folks. 36 runs, 11 doubles. And here's one of the most impressive stats. as he fouls another one back. He's only struck out 3 times all season, 3 times in 111 at-bats.
And when you're past the Colemans and the Pinos of the world in double digits in hits, you know you're doing something right. 48 hits is unreal.
And I'm not quite sure what happened there. All right, so we have 1 out.
No, it was a pop out. I think you and I thought that thing was out on
we did.
out on the road.
Line drive to first base. He lost it, but picked it up. But the runner does advance. I'm sorry, we thought that ball was out of play, and it was not. So error on Michael Brown. Gus Gill hit the ball hard right at the first baseman. Couldn't come up with it. Otherwise, it would have been an inning double play.
That was a tailor-made line drive double play.
And that brings up Brooks Carson, the first baseman for the Raptors, and he takes strike 1. Carson, as we alluded to earlier, is also a transfer from Longwood University. So they lost a couple of good players. Good cut, fouls it back. Carson hitting .320 on the season.
And he's another one of the Raptors this year that can really hit the ball hard and hit the ball far.
Got 23 ribbies.
You look down Rasher's roster this year, and it's looking like football weights, 220, 230, 240. These are big guys.
This is a big guy. And that's outside. So Raptors with a man on second. 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Just a little bit high.
Coach Smith was right about this young man, Russell Hall. I mean, he puts every ounce of his body behind his fastball. He's got a little giddy up to it.
He does have that long windup, as you mentioned.
(3-2) with the bases open. No reason to give him a meatball right here.
Foul tip. Catcher hangs on. That's a strikeout. And that ends the first inning. We are scoreless after 1. We'll be right back with the top of the second after this. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
Welcome back to the Germantown campus. We're ready to get the top half of the second underway. And, you know, we've been talking about Thomas Nelson, Marcus, and people out there are probably going, well, who is Thomas Nelson? So give us a little history lesson there.
Well, I can tell you who Thomas Nelson is because, well, like you, I actually Googled him. So not only did I need your notes, but I found it myself. But yes, Thomas Nelson Community College was named for Thomas Nelson Jr. He was a planter, a soldier, a statesman, if you would, from Yorktown, Virginia, very famous Civil War town. He represented Virginia in the Continental Congress and was its governor in 1781, and he's considered, how about having this title, a U.S. founding father. And I'll let you get to this one to Gus Gill in a big throw. One down.
One up, one down.
And he's regarded as a founding father because his name can be found on the Declaration of Independence as a member of the Virginia delegation. So, you want a title? Founding Father's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that is who Thomas Nelson Community College is named after. And one up, one down for Thomas Nelson. And that brings up number 7, Julian Grant. I'm sorry.
We have
number
the other
22,
Julian.
Number 22, Julian White. I got my Julians mixed up. And he swings right through that one. So Shyman quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Nice location for Shyman. Big slow curveball on the pitch before, and then he moved him way off the plate. Outside fastball.
Ground ball to Carson. Nice friendly hop there, and he tags the bag for an easy second out. So 2 up, 2 down for Thomas Nelson here in the top of the second. No score. And that brings up number 5, Caleb Hertzler, the second baseman.
Caleb's from Toano, Virginia. Tell you what, we learn a lot of new things every time we do a game.
That's for sure.
Not only did we not know who Thomas Nelson was, I've never heard of Toano, Virginia.
No, I can't say as I have. And, of course, Thomas Nelson is from, their campus is in the Hampton Roads area. And ball outside and low. 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, top half of the second. Ground ball foul just outside the line.
Just outside the reach of third base coach for Thomas Nelson Community College. Tried to barehand it, but thought otherwise. Probably a good choice.
And, yeah, and that's Chad Smith, of course. He's the head coach for Thomas Nelson.
He's kidding with Dan Rasher over there saying, "Where's my glove?"
And there's a walk. So
I tell you what,
Hertzler walks.
Sam's hard on himself on the mound out there. Not happy with putting a guy on with 2 out via the free pass.
And that brings up number 15, Trevor Lett, the first baseman. Talk about your good-sized guys.
Yes, sir. That's a first baseman right there.
And that's ball low. Sam Shyman is from Linganore High School. You know a thing or two about Linganore, don't you, Marcus?
Mount Airy, my hometown. Well, currently. But fantastic athletic program. Great high school, Linganore High School. One of the top 10 in Maryland. But athletic facilities-wise, it's top-notch. From softball to baseball fields to the football field. Excellent high school. And it's interesting, it's not too far from Frederick Community College, but obviously Sam wanted to come down to MC and play ball for the Raptors.
Well, that's the kind of reputation they have. There's a ground ball to short, Gill, and there's an error. As he bobbled it, rushed his toss a bit to to Peguero, and Peguero couldn't hold it.
I think we're probably going to have to give Eddie the error on this, because eventually, after Gus sticks with the ball, I think they had a play and a little bit of a change up to Eddie, and Eddie took his eye off the ball. But again, we talked about it in the pregame, just not crisp at all times, all 9 innings in the field for the Raptors, and that's one thing that Coach Rasher is concerned about.
So with 2 outs, all of a sudden, Sam Scheinman finds himself in his first little bit of a jam, and that brings up the leadoff hitter, Julian Grant, and there's a lofts one into left. It's going to fall in there for a single, but it's not deep enough to allow Hertzler to score, as number 21, Matt Durkin, got over there pretty quickly and got it right back in.
He did, and since I'm in the booth and Coach Smith is on third base, I'm a little bit more of a riverboat gambler, so I would have sent him and made Mr. Durkin make a throw from left field.
Got another look here.
So you see, Michael, what happens here, you have a base on balls with 2 outs, you have an error with 2 outs, and you darn near have your first run with 2 outs. And he was held at third on a base hit.
Got the bases loaded, and that brings up Julian Grant, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up.
So Sam's really got to bear down. Bases loaded.
So what looked like an easy inning for Sam Scheinman has turned on a dime. Now we have the bases loaded, and there's a line single into right field, and that's going to score 1 as Chad Smith holds the runner there. Probably a wise move there, as the ball was not that hard hit, but it does score the run. So Thomas Nelson grabs the lead as Hertzler scores, and that walk comes back to haunt you.
The walk, the error, and it's 1-0. And this team made the long trek from Hampton, and it's paying off early. They've really got to be excited to be in this park today, playing a very established junior college team in Montgomery College, and they're just a startup. So this is a big game for them, regardless of what happens with their season this year. This is really a big game, and they're going to be able to show this to future recruits. And good for them. They came out to play.
Landham, soft ground ball. This is going to be trouble. They're not going to get it. As Scheinman came over, Peguero points to himself, said it was I should have gotten over, but he didn't, and as a result, Letts scores, and that makes it 2-0 now. So, going to score that as a single, and a run batted in, and Lett scores. So that makes it 2-0 now, and everything has happened after 2 outs. And that brings up Jaleel Seward, number 13. He was hit by the pitch his first time up.
Not that Sam Scheinman cares, but these aren't earned runs on his ERA.
Outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
There's probably another good reason why Coach Smith didn't send the guy from third base, because he's got his Division I prospect at the plate. That's a run-saving snag by Chavarria.
Yeah. So it's now 3 balls, no strikes.
And now pick your poison. Do you want to groove one to Sewer?
Bases loaded.
Tough spot here for Scheinman.
And he walks him. So that will force in a run. That counts as an RBI. as Williams scores. Again, all of this after 2 outs. And that brings up Triplett. He grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. And you know as well as I do that Dan Rasher is grinding his teeth over there on the bench for the Raptors.
You know, and in the grand scheme of the Raptors season, this game technically doesn't mean much, but then again, it does for the psyche of this team. Got a big week, the biggest week of the year coming up, if you want to think of it that way, with so many Maryland JUCO games coming up. And then, of course, you got the heavyweight matchup with Frederick at the end of the week. You don't...
That ball gets away. Chavarria jumps on it.
You don't want to limp in to, well, basically they are limping in because they're injured. But you don't want to come in with the mindset of dropping a lousy game on a beautiful Sunday afternoon on TV, and then you have your big conference games coming up this week.
Yeah, as we talked about in the pregame, they've got 8 games scheduled this week, weather permitting, of course. Never a sure thing this time of the year. Hard hit ground ball, and boy, he almost cleared the bases.
Yes, indeed, Michael. We were almost looking at a 6-0 game, and you and I, we would have had to pick up our jaws.
Yeah, for sure.
It did, they're pretty far down now. It's 3-0 in the second here. And, in 2008, Thomas Nelson was a club team. They went away for a year or two and then came back in, 2011?
2011. And they've been building the program ever since. They were averaging between 20 and 25 games a year. Now there's a hard hit ball to third. Nice play by Paz, but the man is safe. And another run scores as Triplett hit the ball hard.
That was a great pick by Paz at third.
Paz made a great stop, but number 4, Landrum beat him to the bag to keep it going.
If they buzz us in the booth, I'm not going to be able to tell them if it was safe or out. That was a really close play.
Very close play.
But, hey, Paz saved 2 runs.
And there's a line drive into center field. It falls in for a hit. 1 run scores. Another run scores. Ooh, boy, that was a ugly slide there by Jaleel Sewer. He's lucky he didn't get hurt. As Landrum scores, Sewer scores on a line drive base hit up the middle by Backert. And boy, all of a sudden it is 6-0, and everything happened after 2 outs. There's a pop fly to the out of play, and number 22, Julian White, is up. He grounded out his first time up.
Wow, and Sam Scheiman came in here with a 3.33 ERA.
Pop foul. See if it stays in play. Nope, just falls out of play.
So we talk about the walk, we talk about the error, but there are some hard hit balls. You got to give credit to the Gators here.
Oh, absolutely.
For putting the bat on the ball. There's you got 6 runs. A couple of them are unearned, but they're not really getting cheated out of these runs. Paz had to make a great play at third base. In the first inning, he seemed to be moving the ball in and out. His location was much better, but getting ahead of folks. But he's not getting ahead on these guys.
No, he's pitched from behind ever since that walk. There's a fly ball out to left. Durkin goes back. He's under it for the out. So Sam Scheiman finally puts him away, but not before 6-run score for Thomas Nelson. So after an inning and a half of play, Thomas Nelson on top, 6-0, and we'll be right back for the bottom of the second inning.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, flexible scheduling, over 130 programs of study, award-winning faculty, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner, Marcus Rosano. You know, we look at the beautiful blue skies and we look at the field. It looks so green and beautiful. But when I got here this morning at 7 o'clock, it was a vastly different story, Marcus. I want to tell you, the field, look at that field.
Wow. Well, we have Coach Rasher, who is invoking the name of the great George Toma, probably the single greatest groundskeeping extraordinaire in the history of professional sports. And look at this. These guys are out here. It was a muddy mess, as you said, and it's quite playable right now. I mean, I don't know if you want to look at that 6 spot in the second inning as playable, but conditioning-wise, we're not going to blame it on the field.
No, and Dan Rasher, it's amazing how hard this guy works. And his staff and the players to get this field in shape. But like I said, when I got here this morning about 10 to 7, Dan was already here and already getting to work. But I want to tell you, there was standing water all over this field, and it is remarkable what they have done in a short amount of time to get this field playable. So hats off to Dan and his staff. And you know what, Marcus? This is something they do all the time.
And, you know, the thing is about today is we have to thank them from the MCTV side of things because, there's a lot of preparation with all our crew, going into this afternoon, and he really wanted to get this game played for us.
Well, Jerry Chevrolet gives that one a ride. It's off the glove of the left fielder. He's trying for second. That may be a mistake, and it is.
I think Jerry probably thought that ball was a little bit farther behind the right fielder.
So that's going to be a single, but he's out at second on the throw. Hit the ball hard.
But Julian Grant, he misplayed it, and the ball only skipped out by about 6 feet, and then he makes the strong throw. But, you got a catcher running, of course, and Chavarria is never going to be, mistaken for Ricky Henderson. But, hey, I think he read it wrong, and so did the right fielder. And, unfortunately, it's an MC out.
All right, that brings up Eddie Peguero. And Peguero playing second base today. He is normally the shortstop for the Raptors, but because of the injury to Antonio Pino, he is playing second base today. They've tried a number of different players there since Antonio went out with his injury.
We saw him make some fantastic plays at shortstop against Stevenson.
He bloops one in the infield. It falls. Throw to first. The second baseman just ate it there.
That's
wow. That's one of the ugliest singles you'll ever see.
I played second base. I think the second baseman probably took 2 steps back as soon as that thing came off the bat, because you're never going to really see a pop up go behind the pitcher and in front of you. Your first step is back, wherever
right.
you are on the field here.
Right. So he got deked by the swing a little bit.
It took him a little while to get to the front of the infield.
And that brings up number 21, Matt Durkin.
Listen, the MC will take it.
They will definitely take it. Now, of course, Jerry Chevrolet is wishing he hadn't tried to go to second, all because the Raptors would have something going on. But anyway, Matt Durkin is up. He is a South Carroll High School grad. That's in hometown is Winfield, Maryland. So another one of those guys that Frederick didn't get.
It's true. And you have, there's community colleges all over that area where you have Howard and you have Carroll and you have FCC, you have Hagerstown. But Montgomery College has been the preeminent Maryland JUCO baseball team over the last decade.
Now, Matt Durkin's had just 15 at-bats this season. Of course, he is in there, and he strikes out. He's in there because of the injury to, or the illness rather, to Tyler Coleman. So that brings up Stuart Paz, number 6. He's playing third base for the Raptors today. He's already made a couple of really fine plays.
He's been a busy third baseman today, Stewart has. It's only the second inning.
Throw to first, and that gets away, but not far enough for Peguero to advance.
And Eddie was caught in no man's land. If Williams made a better play or better throw, that would have been a scary play at first base, and Dan Rasher would have been even unhappier than it is at 6-0 in the second inning.
So we got a lot of time to play. It's just a single game today, so we will go 9. So the Raptors have plenty of time to get back into it, provided they can hold down the hard-hitting Thomas Nelson Gators. There's a ground ball back to the pitcher. He's going to go to first, and that is the end of the inning. So after 2 complete, we've got Thomas Nelson on top, 6-0, and we're going to keep it right here because we want to talk about a great trip that the Raptors had recently. They took a 3 or 4 day trip up to upstate New York. They played a couple of doubleheaders, and in between the 2 doubleheaders, the team went to Cooperstown, the Hall of Fame, and this was something that Dan Rasher really wanted his players to see, to appreciate the history of the game. And this was a real treat for these guys.
Well, there you see Babe Ruth, and I remember when I went to Cooperstown. I think I was 12 years old, and what a thrill! And to have these guys go up there and see, the most famous Hall of Fame in all of sports, must have been a heck of an experience. Just to kind of be up there with the guys, and a great bonding experience. I know they had a couple of tough games up there against Herkimer and Sullivan, which are big-time junior college programs. But make no mistake, going to the Hall of Fame with your teammates and your brothers, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was something Dan Rasher really wanted to do. It's the first time that they have done something like this. But Dan, of course, appreciates the history of baseball. He wants his players to not only enjoy playing it, but to appreciate the history as well. And, of course, they raise the money for these trips through the clinics that they run and other fundraising activities. They raise all this money themselves for the trips that they do get to take. So we are ready to get going here in the top of the 3rd inning, and number 5 Hertzler is leading off, and he sends a line drive right into left field for a hit.
It's the second time Caleb Hertzler's been on.
He walked his first time up and scored. So he's 1 for 1, and that brings up Lett, who got on by an error.
Michael, it's so strange to see that 6 up in the second inning on the scoreboard here, and against Southern Maryland, they allowed 6 runs in an inning as well this past week. So it's kind of uncharted waters here for the Raptors.
Boy, that's for sure.
They came back to beat Southern Maryland, though, with seven runs in the 8th and the 9th.
They did. So this team is certainly capable of coming back. They've got the bats, even though they are hurt. We don't want to make excuses, but there's no question that the Raptors are a bit nicked up right now. We talked about it in the pregame, but it's not just those 3 guys that we mentioned. And Lett swings right through it and goes down for the out. And that brings up number 42, Anthony Williams. He singled his first time up, as we see Lett go right through that one. Williams singled his first time up and scored a run in that big second inning. And Sam Scheinman quickly ahead. That was a rough second inning. It all started with a walk, then an error, and then the Gators started swinging the bats. It's a ball, evens the count at 1.
Boy, considering we didn't think we'd even get this game in, it's a beautiful day.
It really is. And it's a rare day here in Germantown as the wind is pretty calm. Normally this ballpark is quite windy. You see the flag out there in center field is just hanging limp at the moment. And swings through that to even the count at 2-2.
Nice spot on that fastball from Sam Scheiman.
And he just missed it. He wanted that one.
Yeah, he wanted the backup breaking ball. And a lot of times the left-hand or the right-handed batter to the lefty will give up on that, and the ball at the last second will curve around the plate.
And he loses him. So that brings up the top of the order. Number 7, Julian Grant. He's 1 for 2. Last time up, he singled and knocked in a run and also scored a run. First time up, he grounded out. And he's a speed demon. Takes a ball in the dirt. So 1 out, 2 on here, top of the 3rd inning. Raptors trailing 6-0.
And Sam Scheiman really wants to limit the damage here.
There's a ground ball to 3rd. Paz tags the bag for 1, throw to 1st. And double play.
Wow, Carson came off the bag and sweep the tag as the runner was running by first base. Great play all around.
And that's a good way to end the top of the 3rd. We're going to take a quick look, and we'll take a quick look. There's Stuart Paz. Long throw. Nice play from Carson, and we'll be right back with the bottom.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, flexible scheduling, over 130 programs of study, award-winning faculty, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. There's a beautiful shot there of the campus. That's actually the reverse side or the back side of the Bioscience Education Center. Beautiful shot there.
That is a great shot, and that's right down next to Holy Cross Hospital. As you can kind of look up the hill to Montgomery College, and at the base of this big hill that we're sitting on right now is Holy Cross Hospital.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the game, but we are ready to start the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and John Hanley, number 13, will lead it off for the Raptors. He's been having a terrific season so far. His average is 382 on the year. He's got a 447 on-base percentage, a 632 slugging percentage. So having a very solid year. He shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a ball. So the Raptors have got to dig themselves out of a 6-run hole here, and it's not going to be easy the way this kid, Russell Hall, is throwing.
He's pitching smart, just fastball, mixing in a little bit of a curveball, not walking anybody. Team's making plays behind him. And, you know, that's a nice pitch right there. I mean, He got the outside corner with a fastball on the pitch before, and John's probably looking a little bit across the plate, and then here comes the curveball, which looks like it's coming at your left eye, and then you kind of shudder a little bit, and the thing curves right over the plate. And followed up with a fastball. He didn't get the call.
So John Hanley, a Damascus High grad. He's one of the sophomores, one of the 6 returning players on the Raptors this season. Everybody else is a freshman.
One of the best athletes on the team. He's out there playing center field, kind of like when he was playing football at Damascus. I guess he was a safety. And I'll tell you what, you play football at Damascus, you know, you're an athlete.
Full count. Here's the payoff.
I mean, that's Friday Night Lights Central in the state of Maryland, Damascus High School.
So full count. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. And he pops it out into no man's land there, and it falls in for a single. So he kind of hit it off the fists, got just enough to get it over the shortstop's head into shallow center field for a base hit. And it just fell.
Yeah, the shortstop and the center fielder kind of ran themselves out of that. I don't think either one really took the charge. Your center fielders play, but if your shortstop can get there, then he'd call him off. But that was a collision waiting to happen, so.
All right, so that brings up Chris Heckhouse. He singled his first time up. So Hanley.
I tell you what, Hall doesn't do anything subtly on the mound. that pickoff move was hard and it was fast.
Yeah. Russell Hall is a freshman out of Smithfield, Virginia. I wonder if that's named after the Hams.
It certainly is.
Of course, the Smithfield family does not own it anymore.
No, they do not. We've when we travel down in the summer to the Outer Banks, we've taken the not 95 route and we've gone through Smithfield. Some historic little towns if you're going to stay off the highway.
And he lines one into right. Oh, and it's caught, and they're going to double hand. Nope, bad throw. Otherwise, they did have Hanley easily doubled off.
Yeah, you know, Julian Grant probably had more time, but you catch that ball, you see the guy halfway down the line, rush it a little bit, and the ball flies out of your hand. Great replay from the MCTV crew, as always.
I'm guessing there that there must have been a hit and run on. I can imagine Hanley running on that otherwise. That brings up Mitch Spilley. He popped out his first time up. And as we were talking about his last time up, he's probably the most dangerous hitter on the Raptors right now. And he fouls it down the left field line. It's out of our vision, and it's out of play.
You know, he's been jumping out of his shoes at the high fastball from Hall. The first couple of times that he saw the fastball from Hall, he cut on it, and he just did the same thing. I think Mitch really wants to put this one out of the park and get the Raptors on the board. We might want to take his time a little bit, wait for his pitch.
He's got 5 home runs. Last time we did a game a couple of weeks ago, he hit one over the left field wall. Fouls that one off. So Hall is ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 3rd inning, man on first base, 1 out.
And we can't let Mitch Spilley play a game without commenting on his stirrups.
Love them. Love the high socks.
There it
There's
is.
a line drive into center field. It falls in for a base hit. Hanley had to hold up there, so he only makes it to second. But the Raptors have something going. That brings up Gus Gill, who flied out to center field his first time up. I'm sorry, got on via a fielder's choice his first time up. Gus Gill, another one of the 6 returners. And that ball gets away, and the runners will advance. That's a wild pitch.
You know, this is the first time that we've seen Hall, you know, look a little bit shaken on the mound.
So, going to get another look at that. Clearly a wild pitch. That's way outside. As Bob Uecker would say, just a bit outside. So now men on second and third, one out, and a RBI opportunity here for Gus Gill, and he knows what to do with it in this situation. Gus has 11 RBIs on the season. He's hitting .354. He's also, there's another one gets away, and here comes Hanley. He'll score easily standing up. And Spilly moves to third.
And Williams and Hall aren't on the same page right now, that's for sure.
As the Raptors get on the board via the wild pitch, let's see.
I think this was a pass ball.
Yeah, that's definitely a pass ball.
It went right between Williams' legs. He's got to cover that.
Yeah, he's got to block that or keep it in front of him some way. So we got a wild pitch and a pass ball, and that accounts for the run. Gus Gill fouls it off. So Hanley scores.
That was actually a big pitch from Hall. I mean, it was 2-0. There's no rush for Gus Gill to be swinging right here, as you want to start a rally down 6-1. That was a nice pitch. But Gus can be choosy again.
There's a ground ball up the middle. Second baseman has it. He comes home with it. And for some reason, Mitch Spilly did not slide.
And he stepped on Williams' foot instead of stepping on the base, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if we can get a replay that close, but I don't think that he knew a throw was coming.
I thought for sure the second baseman would go to first, but no, he came home with it.
And Williams had his foot right on the plate, and I don't even think that Spilly touched the plate regardless. But if he slid, you're right, it wouldn't have been a play.
So that brings up Brooks Carson, who struck out his first time up. So now there are 2 outs, 1 run in for the Raptors, and Gus Gill on first base. There's the pitch, curveball, fouled in the dirt.
Nice snapping curveball from Hall.
Yeah, that was a sharp one. And Brooks Carson, nice job just getting a piece of that one.
I mean, he doesn't throw anything really slow. Even his curveball is sharp. But he's not changing a lot of speeds, really. And now he's 1 pitch from getting out of this inning.
And that's in the dirt, and Williams was going to go to second, but he lost the handle on it. So Gus Gill with the stolen base. Puts himself into scoring position here for Brooks Carson with 2 outs. And Carson strikes out on that curveball again. So after 3 complete innings of play, the Raptors do get on the board, but they still trail 6-1. We'll be right back with the top half of the 4th. After this, you're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration, so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. We're about ready to start the fourth, and we want to welcome in a special guest in the booth with us today. It's Kent Secor from the Gazette newspapers. Kent, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. I appreciate it. I'm just glad it stopped raining.
Yeah, we're. If you had seen this field at 7 o'clock this morning, you'd be amazed at the transformation in just a few short hours. Yep. So, Kent, tell me now, you have spent a number of years as the basically the main sports columnist for the Gazettes, but you've recently moved on to a new position.
Right. I'll still be at the Gazette, but I'm moving out of sports. Actually, there's a little bit of transition. I'm still doing a couple of sports things for now, but in the next couple of weeks, I'll be moving full-time to the technology side of things and being a web editor and basically, aside from maintaining the website and posting stories, editing stories, I'll be on social media a lot. So if you want to talk to me, I'll probably be sitting around at my desk, just tweeting away.
Yeah, in talking about social media, you coming from the sports reporting side, social media has changed sports reporting. Just think about, you haven't been doing this for too long,
right,
but it has changed at your desk in the past few years.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people want to know scores. I mean, that's the number one thing why we get followers is, and
Yep.
if we don't tweet fast enough, like every 30 seconds or something in a big playoff game, they're wondering why we aren't updating.
I have to admit, since I'm in Mount Airy now and I moved from Damascus to Mount Airy, I was on Twitter to get the Linganore-Damascus football game score.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a nice shot. Right to Hanley in center field.
Hanley in center field.
But like you said, it's now to the second, and I guess a whole lot of other people were probably looking at Twitter for scores like that. And it's a changing world, and it's nice to see you transitioning from the sports desk over to the web and social media world.
Yep, absolutely.
But you recently just left the sports world, and of course you're still tied in because you're a big sports fan.
You'll always be sports, buddy.
Yeah,
we know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course you covered a lot of Montgomery County high school baseball this spring. Who are some of the top teams in high school baseball in Montgomery County this season?
Well, I know Prince Grimes is our baseball reporter. I don't cover stuff much day to day, but I do know Gaithersburg is very good. I mean, they have three really good pitchers. Anthony Fletty is going to Virginia next year.
Oh, wow.
Nick Pantos is going to Maryland next year, and Brandon Deo is not bad at all. They have three really good starting pitchers. But they actually Avalon just actually beat them. Upset them the other day. So.
Wow, I'll tell you what, if you're a high school baseball player and you're signing with UVA or Maryland, wow, you got to be putting up some numbers.
Yep, especially now with the recent success Maryland had last year.
Yes, indeed.
And now, just to catch us up, Jaleel Stewart singled, and there's a ground ball to second base. Could have an inning-ending double play here by Triplett. Oh, the throw pulls him off, so it's just a fielder's choice ground ball there by Triplett. But now the Raptors have had a tremendous amount of success over the years, recruiting players out of Montgomery County high schools. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I mean, it's kind of being that hyper-local thing. I mean, Montgomery College is the junior college of Montgomery College. In fact, the only college in Montgomery County, I believe.
Yeah, so looks like Backer got one in the foot, but Dan Rasher has the direct link to these coaches, and and this still is big time baseball, and this. I mean, you went to Magruder.
Yep.
You don't just graduate after playing high school ball and just fall into a junior college program. I mean, this is real baseball. Not everybody even gets the opportunity to come play junior college, let alone 4-year school, whether it be at the Division III level. But this is big time baseball, and I'm sure some of the county student athletes, have their eye on coming to MC and honing their skills.
Well, yeah. I mean, just looking at the roster, throughout the season, I mean, it's always plethora of guys that we have covered.
Mm-hmm.
in high school career, their names are very familiar, and they just, they still want to keep playing baseball, and because they love the game. I mean, because I know John Hanley's having a very good year for you guys.
Yep.
He was a stud at Damascus on football team as well. So
I have to ask you this, keeping it to the baseball side. Who are some of the do you have one best baseball player that you've covered or that in your time here at at the Gazette that comes to mind?
I've never actually covered baseball on a regular basis. I may have covered maybe a couple playoff games, just but I mean, everybody knows Justin Maxwell from Sherwood. I mean, he's
Justin Maxwell
playing MLB now, so I mean, he's probably
didn't he? I saw him on Sports Center last night make a heck of a play. He's hitting home runs at the Major League Baseball level.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably the most notable guy.
While we're talking, and we do want to mention that the Raptors have made a pitching change. Brennan Karn has come in to relieve for Sam Shyman, and I'm surprised actually to see Karn today because the coaches told me before the game he was sick yesterday. But apparently, when you're young, you can make a quick recovery, and looky there, he's out on the hill. So.
Gatorade, orange juice, water, you name it. So Justin Maxwell, I didn't even know Justin Maxwell went to Sherwood. I have my eye on him in fantasy, by the way. Let's see. Let's get into your park a little bit more. Football. If you had the best football player that you ever covered, who would that be?
That I've covered. Probably I'm gonna sound a little biased here because I did a whole series of stories on him about his recruiting. Was Zach Bradshaw at Damascus?
Okay, right.
He played wide receiver and linebacker there. I know in spring ball at Virginia he was starting the outside linebacker
now,
and slated to do that in the fall.
Speaking of Zach Bradshaw, now do you seeing that you're a Penn State alum, do you hold any ill will against Mr. Bradshaw?
No,
reason being, tell the story.
Not really at all. I mean, everybody knows about the sanctions that happened a few years ago with Penn State, and when those came out, I mean,
you expected it.
Yeah, I mean,
in ways.
I can't blame him.
Right.
I mean, it's his personal choice. He doesn't want to, possibly never play in a bowl game. I mean, of course, that's all hindsight now. The sanctions are removed.
So you had these 18-year-old kids having to make these life decisions for something that had nothing to do with them. But finding yourself at UVA wasn't so bad.
No, especially because he's going to probably start this year.
That's awesome.
So that brings up Williams, Anthony Williams. I'm sorry, number 22, Julian White, and he is 0 for 2.
Well, Ken, I didn't think it was going to be 6-1 when we had you in the booth.
No. Usually you guys are on the other side.
And this team is a relative startup, I guess you could say that with a baseball team. They didn't have a team until 2011. They played as a club team in 2008. So their coach Smith over there is really trying to get this program started.
But that's the thing about baseball. Unlike any other sport at any level, on any given day, a pitcher could have a bad day. I mean, you could have a couple errors and change the whole outcome of the game.
And that's true. And Sam Shyman had a 3.33 ERA, and we've got a 6 spot on the board in the second inning.
Yeah, they certainly did not expect that. And Karn looks like a different type of pitcher than Sam Shyman, a little harder thrower, Marcus.
Yes, indeed, and obviously coming from the right side. And I'm sure, who do we have? Julian up here, one of the Julians.
Julian White.
He's kind of happy to see the righty.
And he's got a full count, 1 out, but there are 2 on, and he walks him to load him up.
Kent, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Out of all the coaches that you've had the ability to talk to after games, maybe doing preseason, previews, who is the most fun? Maybe we can say it this way, who is the most quotable?
Quotable? Well, quotable on or off the record?
Yes and yes.
Probably not to go back to Damascus or Sherwood or Seneca Valley again, but Al Thomas, he's been around forever. He's one of the more quotable guys. I mean, I know he's not doing too well health-wise right now, but he was always very honest. A lot of things he said weren't for print, but he was always, he told you how it is. Another guy is Craig Kephart at Gaithersburg.
Right.
So some of these more older school coaches.
That's good.
Hertzler's up. He walked, scored a run, and singled. So he's been a thorn in the side today, and he hits a hard ground ball to second. Play is to first, and that ends the inning. And Ken, if you want, you can stay with us. We're going to take a quick little break after after 3.5 innings of play. The Raptors trailing 6-1. We'll be right back with the bottom of the fourth after this.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration, so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College, ready to start the bottom half of the fourth inning. Leading off for the Raptors will be number 10, Jerry Chavarria. He singled his first time up and then was thrown out trying to stretch that single into a double. We are joined again by Kent Secor here in the booth with us. So, Kent, you got to be pretty impressed with this Montgomery College program that Dan Rasher has put together. 300 wins in not quite 10 years. That's something else, isn't it?
Oh yeah, especially for a junior college where every single year you don't know what your roster's going to be. I mean, or who's going to be playing, and kids coming and going. I think that's also, I mean, a testament to him as coach and also as kind of the talent here in Montgomery County.
Our ground ball to second. Grass actually slowed it down, made a nice, easy play there for the first out of the inning.
You know, and when you come to MC, not only are you're going to save money on education because we all know, sitting in this booth, what student debt does to us, but you're going to get your 2-year associates, and these guys all have a chance to go and play, you know, at the 4-year level. And again, whether it's Division I like we talked about or all the way down to the Division III level, it's still playing baseball at a 4-year school, and that's what a lot of these guys really want to do.
Yeah, to get to know some of your athletes and coaches of your various programs, it seems like anybody that wants to pursue that, your coaching staff and them on the academic side too, they have the opportunity to do that if they so desire.
And this is definitely a good springboard, you know, program Montgomery College is, and in all the sports too. You know, whether it be soccer, and then this year, I mean, we have track and field. Good grief. The Gazette was out there covering track and field at Montgomery College, and Michael and I were holding the paper up and running around campus. Look at this. It's track and field in the Gazette. We were so happy.
Well, they're having a great year. The men are ranked number 3 in the country. The women ranked number 5. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. They were at the Penn Relays the other day, so that's another growing program. And there's a ground ball up the middle. Second baseman ranges, gets it, throws Peguero out for the second out of the inning. So 2 up, 2 down for the Raptors.
Kent, I'll put you on the spot again. If there's a program in high school in Montgomery County when it comes to all athletics, top to bottom, what's the number one? I remember back in the 90s, Seneca Valley used to win everything, and now the power has kind of shifted in Germantown to Northwest. What's the number one program? And let's not talk about good counselor, DeMatha, stuff like that, obviously.
Well, everything goes in cycles, but Sherwood's usually pretty good.
Yep. Sherwood softball doesn't lose, right?
Yeah. I mean, the big key is the places that have youth organizations, like DSA up in Damascus, or OBGC and Olney with Sherwood.
Is big time. Yep.
But yeah, I think consistently across the board, Sherwood's one of the best, most consistent in everything. Damascus is pretty strong at everything, but they've always been in a classification lower.
Yep. That's true.
Matt Durkin at the plate. Hits the ball hard to center, but the center fielder right there to gather it in for the third out. 3 up, 3 down for the Raptors here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Kent, we want to thank you so much for joining us in the booth today, taking time out of your busy Sunday, and we wish you nothing but the best in your new endeavor at the Gazette.
And we'll see you on Twitter.
Yep, I appreciate it, guys.
We'll be watching for those tweets. All right, and we will be right back with the top half of the fifth after this. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, flexible scheduling, over 130 programs of study, award-winning faculty, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. We're ready to start the top half of the fifth inning. Marcus, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about a new initiative that you've been working on. It's called Hashtag MC Works For Me. What's it all about?
Absolutely, and for all you social media folks, if you're on Twitter, you can go to hashtag MC Works For Me, or if you don't follow Montgomery College, you can go to Montgomery College. It's at MONTCOLL at Montcall. That's how you find Montgomery College. And a little bit about what MC Works For Me is. It's student stories. We want to know, what is your story behind just coming to school and taking a class? There's people behind, these students. There's real stories behind, these faces, and that's what we like to hear. And as you can see on the screen, the MC Works For Me website is fantastic. Our IT folks have really done a really good job, and you could see all these thumbnails of the students' faces, and you click on those and listen to their stories. And, of course, our awesome MCTV crew tapes those stories, and you can go to the MC Works For Me website as well and learn a little bit about that. And if you're watching this game at some point and you want to go to our Twitter and hashtag us MC Works For Me and tell us how MC has worked for you.
So here we go. We are back at it here in the top half of the fifth. The Raptors trailing 6-1. Lett is Trevor Lett leading off for Thomas Nelson, and he's going up against Brennan Karn, who came in relief of Sam Shyman in the last half inning. And Lett goes down swinging. That's his second strikeout of the day.
Well, the Raptors have some work to do.
They got a hole to dig out of.
But we have a 9-inning game here, so it's still going to be a long afternoon. The weather's going to hold up. It's beautiful out. But the bats need to hold up. Bats need to wake up.
Bats need to wake up for the Raptors. Of course, part of that is Russell Hall, who has pitched very well. I've been impressed with him.
He's been around the plate. He's been mixing his curveball with his fastball. He hasn't walked too many guys. He got in a little trouble in the third inning. Only got out of that with one run. MC could have put 4 on the board, and they ran themselves out of a run, as we saw. He's capitalizing on a little bit of Raptors sloppiness, but at the same time, he's throwing the ball well.
And Brennan Karn in to pitch for the Raptors, came in for Sam Shyman in the last half inning in the top of the fourth. Shyman pitched 3 innings and really was kind of a victim of some bad luck. Although, I'll tell you, Thomas Nelson swings the bats.
You're
There's
right.
a curveball for strike 3, and that's some frozen pizza there.
He really froze Williams there. But you're right. The Gators have had timely hits. They're not trying to do too much. They're just putting the ball in play.
Got a good look at it there with our replay machine, and that brings up number 7, Julian Grant, and he is 1 for 3, a single, an RBI, and a run hit into a double play his last time up.
And Julian is our Maryland athlete, as we said earlier, from Lexington Park.
Lexington Park, Maryland. So he is he's a freshman, as the majority of the Gators are freshmen. Again, it's a young program being built by Chad Smith, who is also is the head coach as well as the third base coach, as well as the interim athletic coordinator at Thomas Nelson. So he wears a lot of hats.
He's got his plate full Monday through Friday, indeed, and on weekends.
Ooh, there's a short hopper that got Chevrolet, and boy, that had to hurt. He's trying to walk it off. Boy, looks like it got him on the wrist, and that hurts.
Yeah, there's a nice space between the top of that glove and then the upper shoulder, and that's all wrist.
Oof.
I mean, you can't really pad that area, that's for sure.
Nope, you can't. That's a tough job back there behind the plate. Karn just missed. So Brennan Karn on the season, he's pitched in 7 games, 3-1, so he's got a good winning percentage, 3.09 ERA. And boy, he struck out Grant and he struck out the side. So a nice 1-2-3 inning there for Brennan Karn. And after 4.5 innings of play, the Raptors still find themselves trailing 6-1. And we're going to keep it right here. We're going to talk about one of the new buildings on the campus of Montgomery College there in Germantown. There you see it right there. Beautiful shot of the Bioscience Education Center here at the Germantown campus. Tell us a little bit about it, Marcus.
You know, I think we say this a lot, state-of-the-art buildings. I mean, we have a new building on the Rockville campus, the Science Center, but here in the Germantown campus, as you can see the Bioscience Education Center, it is one of the, as you can see, again, the labs here, the bioscience engineering program at Montgomery College is growing by leaps and bounds, and we're in a very productive area here in Maryland, right here on the I-270 corridor when it comes to biotech companies and chemical engineering and biology as well. For, as you can see, some great shots by MCTV. I'm sitting here looking at this monitor, and that's fantastic. But the Bioscience Education Center just got recent visits from Senator Cardin. We had Penny Pritzker and Tom Perez, Labor Secretary and Secretary of Commerce, visit the Germantown campus, and they were all in the Bioscience Education Center. It's a pretty awesome building, and it's one of the tenants of what's called the Hercules Pinckney Life Sciences Park here on the Germantown campus.
And Stuart Paz is leading off for the Raptors.
And if everybody remembers the name Hercules Pinckney, he was the former president of Montgomery College. So we would call him a president emerita, former interim president, before he handed off to our current president, Darian Pollard, Dr. Pollard, as most of us call her.
And Stuart Paz leading off for the Raptors. He's hitless on the day. Played a nice third base, though. And he hits it hard to his counterpart at third. Long throw over for the out. So 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that will bring up the top of the order, Chris Heckhouse. I'm sorry, bottom of the order, John Hanley. Hanley singled his only time up. Raptors, this is kind of the tale of the game here, that they are just now getting through the order for the second time.
That's a surprise. That's something that we're not accustomed to. You know, the player at third base who just made that play, back hurt, he actually was here about noontime And there's an interesting story. Not only is a young guy have a 4.0 grade point average, but he commutes to Thomas Nelson from Richmond. There's no community college baseball teams in his area, so he also takes classes at John Tyler Community College. They don't have an athletic program, so not only is he going to get his degree from John Tyler, but he's going to get his degree from Thomas Nelson, and he's playing baseball all the while. So talk about busy. Mr. Backhurt here is a busy guy, and he's already been accepted to VCU. So his hard work has paid off, so congratulations, young man.
And he's going to try to walk on to the VCU baseball team. So this is obviously a very motivated kid. Hanley pops it up, and the center fielder gathers it in. White for the out. So 2 up, 2 down.
And Virginia Commonwealth is no slouch at Division I baseball. They are a good program.
That brings up the top of the order. Chris Heckhouse. He's 1 for 2, singled his first time up, and hit a fly ball to right his last time up. So 2 outs here, bottom of the 5th inning. Raptors trailing 6-1.
I don't know, Mr. Brown. I don't sense the fire or the energy from the Raptors. Is it because, Antonio Pino's sitting on the bench here with an injury, or Tyler Coleman is injured? It's just it doesn't seem like there's that spark out here today.
Or did they wear themselves out working on the field for 3 hours before the game started?
It very well could be, because that's part of coming to Montgomery College. You know you're going to be part groundskeeper.
Because they were out here. The team was out here at 9:30 this morning, and they pushed the start of the game back. The game was originally supposed to start at noon, and they pushed it back to 2 o'clock to allow the Raptors to work on the field. And I don't know. I mean, that's going to have a little bit of an effect on them,
I'd love to see some changes at the facilities aspect of Montgomery College to really – take charge of these baseball fields for these young guys. This baseball program is one of the best, on the East Coast at the junior college level. And to see these kids out here, digging holes and raking and throwing sand, it just doesn't look right to me. But that's my soapbox, and I'm getting off it.
And they were in uniform.
Yes, they were.
I mean, There's something to that. Anyway, that is a walk, a 2-out walk, and that brings up Mitch Spilley. And Mitch is 1 for 2. He popped out and singled. So let's see if the Raptors can get something going here with 2 outs. Heckhouse is a threat to steal.
But I don't think he's going anywhere down 6-1, especially with Mitch Spilley on at the plate.
No, I would doubt that.
Yeah, it could be 6-3 real quick.
I would doubt that. Heckhouse does have 4 stolen bases, but
there it is.
There is a long fly ball to left field. It is going, and it is gone.
And there was no doubt about that.
No doubt about that one, as a 2-run shot from Mitch Spilley. Chris Heckhouse scores, and here comes Mitch Spilley. That's his 6th home run on the season. That ties him for the team lead with Tyler Coleman. And you were right. He was gunning for one of those all game long.
Yeah, he was due, and he's been jumping out of his shoes, and look at that swing. Down, get the bat head down on the ball. Fastball right over the plate. And when he gets the bat head around, and when the barrel meets the ball for Mitch Spilley, it goes.
And what set that up was a 2-out walk to Chris Heckhouse.
And that's not something that Russell Hall has done today. Has hurt himself.
No, but he did there because he extended the inning with the walk.
With the best hitter on the team.
On deck.
On deck.
And the best hitter on the team what the best hitter on the team is supposed to do. And that brings up Gus Gill now. So maybe that'll put a bit of a charge into the Raptors bench, which you were right, had been a little bit quiet up to this point. We're used to a pretty boisterous Raptors bench over there. And but Mitch Spilley just put one out there onto the road.
And maybe they're gonna blame it on the hypnotic green and purple for the Gators. A lot of purple in this park today.
There is a lot of purple. We're painting it purple. And Gus Gill has been on twice via the fielder's choice. He also has a stolen base. And ooh, that was right up around the head there to even the count at 2-2. We've been impressed with Russell Hall, the starting pitcher for Thomas Nelson today. He has pitched as advertised, a hard thrower. There's a ground ball to third. Nicely played, long throw for the out. But that is the end of 5 complete innings of play. The Raptors put 2 up there, courtesy of a 2-run homer from Mitch Spilley to cut the lead to 6-3. And we're going to keep it right here because we want to talk. We've been talking about Montgomery College athletics. We talked to Kent Sakura about how it is the programs have improved. And just the other day, I had the opportunity to travel with our men's 4x400 relay team to the Penn Relays. The Penn Relays that are held at historic Franklin Field there in downtown Philadelphia on the campus of the University of Pennsylvania. It's a big scene there for the Penn Relays. They're the oldest continuously run relay event in the country. Founded in 1895. They have a wall of fame there, as you can see. And our athletes in the 4x400 meter relay team, they qualified to run in this very, very prestigious event. And I want to tell you, these kids were thrilled with this opportunity. Frankly, maybe a little too thrilled. They were actually nervous. And we want to talk about the 4 guys that ran. As you can see, some of the shots from Franklin Field, there was a crowd of 39,000 people there. And there's our guys, Sheldon Wilson, Sam Bambozi, Roland Daughtry, and Saeed Oshile. They all ran in the 4x4. In their heat, it was all 4-year schools plus Trinidad and Tobago. So, I mean, that gives you some idea of the competition. You had some of the best schools, best running schools in all the country there: Texas A&M, LSU, Tennessee, Texas. Jamaica had a team there. Trinidad, Tobago had a team there. There were 8 foreign countries represented. And the Raptors 4x400 relay team qualified for this event. And it was a thrill for these kids to get to compete.
Wow, that's a world-class heat right there. And great camera work by you, Michael, as you can take shots of iconic Franklin Field. How awesome was it there to be in the heart of Philadelphia for the Penn Relays?
I'll tell you, it was a great thrill for me to go with the kids, a real privilege. And, again, it's a testimony to this track and field program that they're now qualifying teams to go up and run the Penn Relays. Their men's team are ranked number 3 in the country. The MC women's track team is ranked number 5 in the country. And in a couple of weeks, they're going to be going up to nationals in upstate New York, and they're going to make some real noise.
And the MC women's 4x400 meter relay team recorded the fastest time in the country just a couple of weeks back in the 4x4 at the NJCAA Division III level. So, yeah, MC track and field has really arrived at this college.
Boy, that is for sure. It's a growing big-time program. All right, we are in the top of the 6th, and number 4, Caleb Landrum, led it off with a single. Jaleel Stewart is up. There's a ground ball to second for 1. The throw to first in time for the double play. So Jaleel Stewart grounds into a double play so quickly. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Nice turn by Gus Gill. And Peguero got him the ball in the perfect spot, and he had to make a hard throw because that's a fast runner running down the line there.
Yeah, Stewart.
And the big 6'4" Brooks Carson made the play at the first base bag.
That brings up Triplett, and he's grounded out, and he's been on twice via the fielder's choice. So he's 0 for 3 on the day.
I'll tell you what, Michael, I got to hand it to this Thomas Nelson team. You know, a very, very new team, and they look all the part of a NJCAA program.
Well, they are grooming themselves for that. They will be transitioning into the NJCAA full-time this coming fall.
And who knows, we may see them, and you'll talk about this, because they're trying to get into a region that we're going to play in the districts.
Yeah, they will be placed in Region 10, so it's possible that next spring Montgomery College could play them in the Region 20, Region 10 district playoff to see who goes to the World Series.
And you hope for Coach Smith and some of these that this nucleus of ball players comes back for next year, because they're pretty good.
They really are, and they're growing the team. And quite frankly, I'm a little surprised at how accomplished they are, but this is a good ball club. This is a good, solid ball club.
And Coach Rasher's going to want to continue to put them on the schedule after today. And that's how he works.
Yeah, we had a conversation this week, and he told me that's what he wants to do. The Raptors play a lot of Division I schools in their schedule, and frankly, they don't really need to.
They don't. Nope.
Because they're a Division III team. If they're going to go to the World Series, they're going to the D3 World Series. They're not going to the D1 World Series. So he would like to schedule more Division III teams because, frankly, that's the caliber, that's the level that they're going to be playing in the postseason.
And, the teams from the other states, the Herkimers and the Sullivans and the Monroes, they play their competition a lot more often than MC plays their competition.
Well, and part of that, of course, is because MC is in Maryland JUCO. Mm-hmm. Maryland JUCO is heavy with Division I and Division II teams. There's only a handful of Division III teams in Maryland JUCO. Maryland JUCO, of course, is a big league. What is it, 16, 18 teams. So they get more than their share of D1 schools.
I mean, you have your Prince George's and your Hagerstowns. Hartford is big time this year. Frederick is one of the best Division II teams in the country this year. I mean, we'll see Frederick, next week, or MC will see Frederick next week.
He swings right through it. So for the strikeout, so another nice inning there for Brennan Karn, helped by the double play. So after 6.5, we are. It's Thomas Nelson ahead now, 6-3, and we're going to keep it right here again because earlier, Marcus, you mentioned Holy Cross Hospital, and some people may be saying, well, wait a minute, Holy Cross Hospital is down there in Silver Spring on the Beltway, but
nah, not anymore. Well, Holy Cross Hospital still is down in Silver Spring, but what's a boon for our health science program and our students wanting to major in nursing is that we have a active, living, breathing hospital on the campus of Montgomery College here on the Germantown campus. And Holy Cross Hospital is down at the bottom of the hill, right off of Middlebrook Road. You can't miss it. It is a 94-bed, if I'm not mistaken, hospital. It's a great facility. I've been in it. I've walked through it. They did an amazing job inside that hospital. Obviously, you can see it from here. It's great on the monitor, but you go inside there, and it is top-notch. But how cool is it for a nursing student? You can actually go and do your hands-on work, as a nurse, right down the hill. And, we're at this point, we're the only community college in the country that has a hospital on its campus. And the partnership that is growing between Montgomery College and Holy Cross can only do wonders for workforce development, for recruiting of students to come to MC, and really put a lot of skilled and able workers, into the workforce, to just really spur the economic development of Montgomery County.
It's a great addition to Montgomery College and to this campus, and really to the citizens of this part of the county as well.
Yeah, this is the first hospital built in over 30 years in the county. So not that 30 years is old, but but for breaking ground on a hospital, it doesn't happen overnight. So this is really an awesome addition to the Hercules Pinckney Life Sciences Park on the Germantown campus of Montgomery College.
All right, we are in the bottom of the sixth. Brooks Carson leading off for the Raptors, and so far today, he's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, so he is definitely due. And as the Raptors try to keep chipping away at this lead, Mitch Spilley helped them a lot last inning, cut that lead in half down to 6-3. So just the one bad inning so far for the Raptors, and they haven't been able to overcome it when Thomas Nelson put a 6 spot up there on the top half of the second inning. Carson fouls it back out of play.
And Brooks Carson, doesn't need to be worrying about a 3-run swing. He needs to just get on base, set the table for the rest of the guys. And like you said, he struck out twice, so he might be pressing a little bit.
But the Raptors have the ability to get back in it. They're clawing their way back in it. This is definitely a team that's not going to say, okay, it's not our day, we're done.
And they got big bats, so they know down to the last out, as we saw against Southern Maryland this past week, where they scored 7 runs in the last 2 innings to win.
Game we did a couple of weeks ago, we did a doubleheader with Stevenson. They were trailing by 5 runs.
Basically the whole game they were trailing.
And they came back, and they did lose the game 7-6, but they had the tying run on third in the last inning. So this is a team that can get back into it quickly as Carson pops it up into right field. Lots of time there for the out.
Nice,
so
nice
one up,
pitch,
one down.
Nice pitch by Hall. He had to reach back, and he really threw a nice high fastball. And Brooks Carson couldn't lay off it and popped it up into right field.
And that brings up Jerry Chevarria. He's 1 for 2. He singled his first time up and grounded out to second his last time up.
He's played a good position behind the plate today. Been knocked around a little bit.
He's one of those D1 transfers we were talking about earlier, Marcus. He's a D1 transfer from Southern University.
And you could see his skills around the plate, when he's playing backstop. That's D1 skills right there.
And he grounds it back to the pitcher for an easy out. So 2 up, 2 down for the Raptors. And that brings up Eddie Peguero. He had an infield single, maybe one of the oddest infield singles we've seen in a while, his first time up. And last time up, he also grounded out to second base. And first pitch is a strike.
Hall still has some pop on that fastball, that's for sure.
Well, I was going to ask you how long we might see Hall out there.
I mean, we don't have the pitch count, and that's what I was thinking. Where is he right now?
And there's a line drive to center, but right at the center fielder. He hit it right on the button, but right at the center fielder for the third out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Raptors. So after 6 complete, Thomas Nelson on top, 6-3. We'll be right back with the top half of the 7th inning after this. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, over 130 programs of study, seamless transfer options, state-of-the-art facilities, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. There's a beautiful shot of the campus. Nice. You can see it's a beautiful sunny day here, spring day, wispy clouds above, on the beautiful campus of Montgomery College. Marcus, let's talk a little social media. You were talking to Kent Zakur about his new job being like the social media web editor for the Gazette, but you do a lot of that yourself, don't you?
Yes, indeed. From the communications spot, yeah, that's kind of par for the course there. Duties as assigned, I guess you would say. But we're really stepping up our Twitter and our Instagram presence here at Montgomery College. And our buddy in athletics, Mike Simone, he's done a great job over the last couple of years. And really, he's on Twitter and Instagram, and he comes out here with his camera and posts immediate pictures up on Instagram. So, catch up to all the MCTV sports productions, not only on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, but obviously we have the Raptors YouTube channel. So look us up, take a photo, follow us, and
Ground ball base hit there by Teddy Backert right down the line. And, you talk about Mike Simone. He's also helped a lot by George Zuniga.
That's
Both
right.
those guys doing a great job on the social media for the Raptors, the Facebook page, the Twitter page, the Twitter feed, Instagram. It's a big part of everybody's job, it seems, in the communications area now for the college.
And we're not too hard to find. So whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, come out and find us.
There's a bunt, and it's going to work. Sacrifice works as Paz fields it cleanly, but Backert moves up to second base.
That's smart baseball by the Gators. Play a little small ball. You're up 3. Why not play for a 7-3 game?
So let's also talk that not only do we have athletic social media, but we also have college-wide social media, right, Marcus?
Absolutely. You can follow us at Twitter at MONTCOLL, which is at MontCol, and that's our Montgomery College Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter or go to our Facebook page, and all you have to do is like us on Facebook. And one of the things about Facebook and Twitter, and you have the most immediate news, and whether it be good or bad, and when I say bad, whether it be a weather delay or something that you need to know about getting to campus or not coming to campus, Twitter and Facebook right now are about as immediate as you can get. So anything you need to know that goes on with campus, and whether it be weather-related delays or anything like that, social media is not only fun, but it's vital at some points in time when we need to use it for communications.
All right, we are back to action now. Hertzler is up. He's walked and scored a run, singled, and grounded out. We've got a man on second here in the top half of the 7th inning. Brennan Karn in for his 4th inning of work. He came in the top of the 4th in relief of Sam Scheinman. He's pitched very well since then. He's done his job exactly as Dan Rasher would want. Put up nothing but zeros on the scoreboard since he came in.
He's really kept the Raptors in the game, and he allowed the Raptors to stick around here, and as you could see, Mitch Spilley hits one over the fence, and it's a 6-3 game. And now you have Backert at second base, and he really needs to bear down here, and get out of this inning to keep it at a 3-run game as we go into the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
You want to keep it manageable. There's a hard hit foul ball down the right field line. So Backert singled, was sacrificed to second by Julian White. So man on second base, 1 out, top of the 7th inning, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hertzler. So Brennan Karn, he's a freshman. I'm sorry, he's a sophomore out of Northwest High School. You talked about Northwest's athletic program earlier.
Here in Germantown.
Right down the street.
A little bit down 118 from Seneca Valley, which is right across the street.
Fouls it off. So he's hanging tough. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Coming into this game, Karn only a 3.09 ERA. Nice season for Brennan.
And he's lowered that with this effort today. But this is a big inning here. Big situation, and he loses him. So that puts 2 men on.
Hertzler almost offered up at it, but he checked it.
And that brings up number 15, Trevor Lett. And he's 0 for 3 on the day, 2 strikeouts. He did reach base on an error and score in that big second inning.
Well, we've seen a couple inning-ending double plays here from the Raptors. So, and Lett is, it would be susceptible to a double play.
He can induce a ground ball here. A double play is a good possibility.
Got to keep that ball down and have Lett beat it down into the ground.
Two on, 1 out. He swings, actually got a piece of that one. Brennan Karn throws hard. He's a right-hander, tall, lanky guy.
Nice pitch.
And right on the outside corner.
Now he's got a chance, 1 and 2 to Lett to make him do something here. Get him out of this inning.
Lett will have to, he took a close one. That was a pretty close pitch when you're down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Chavarria is framing that ball as best he can.
That evens the count at 2. And then he beats it into the ground, but that is going to be tough. But again, Lett's speed allows Karn to take his time and throw him out at first base, or should I say lack of speed.
Right. Well, I mean, that wasn't the ground ball that MC wanted, but he hit it probably right up off the plate, and obviously Karn had the wherewithal to know that he's got some time, and he threw Lett out by plenty of time at first base. But
it's in effect a sacrifice.
And there's two guys sitting on second and third right now.
And that brings up Williams, and he's got a single, a walk, and a strikeout. He's also scored a run. So he has inflicted some damage on the Raptors. So 2 outs here. This is a key batter.
Nice pitch. Boy, that tailing fastball came right up in on the hands to Williams.
Boy, that was a tough pitch to hit. And he obviously didn't hit it. No balls, 2 strikes now. Time called. Ooh.
Little bit off the plate.
Just a bit outside, and I mean a itty bit. And Williams looked at the umpire like, thank you.
And this ump's making Brennan earn it.
There's a fly ball out to right field. Heckhouse over for the easy catch and the 3rd out of the inning. So Brennan Karn does the job again as he keeps the Gators off the board. So after 6.5 innings of play, the Raptors still trailing Thomas Nelson 6-3. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 7th inning. After this, you're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Another great shot there of the Bioscience Education Center. We're entering the bottom half of the seventh inning. The Raptors trailing 6-3 over Thomas Nelson. And, you know, we've been talking about the postseason coming up. There you see the banner on the outfield wall with all the championships that have been won in recent years here, the Region 20 championships by the Raptors baseball program. There's a whole lot of years up there.
It really is. And, you know, at this level, the junior college level, you know when you're in Montgomery County that if you come to play baseball for the Raptors, you got a chance of going to the, you know, World Series. And if you look at all those Region 20 champions up there, that's big time. There's not many junior colleges in the country that can point to banners like that.
No, very impressive, and of course they would like to put another number up there, a 2015. Durkin gives it a ride to right. It's an adventure, but the right fielder did haul it in. So
Julian Grant out there, and that ball kept going a little bit, and
as Durkin gave it a ride,
almost found our little version of pesky pole around there, but not quite.
And there he goes, right up near the wall. So one pitch, one out.
I was going to say that's just a long out.
Yep.
For Russell Hall.
That makes Durkin 0 for 3 on the day. That brings up Stuart Paz. He's grounded out both times up. Played a good, solid third base, however. So he's contributed on the glove side. And Paz is a freshman out of Eastern View, Virginia. Criminal justice major. That's another strong program here at Montgomery College.
And it's growing, and we've got partnerships with a lot of the federal organizations down in D.C., a lot of articulation agreements with the University of Maryland.
Pop up to first, let under it, and he makes the easy catch for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here for the Raptors in the bottom of the 7th. And that brings up John Hanley. He singled and scored his first time up, and second time up he flew out to center field. So John Hanley 1 for 2 on the day against Russell Hall, who has been very impressive today for Thomas Nelson. They threw their number 1 starter at us today, and he's done the job.
And you know what? We were talking earlier today about how we were happy that they're going to throw their number 1 starter, and they're taking this game real seriously.
And they're going to look at this as a watershed game for this program, I have a feeling. No matter how it turns out, they've played very well.
And they're going to have it on YouTube, and they're going to be able to share it with friends and family and say, hey, look at us.
And
we're on TV.
And kids they're recruiting.
That's true. Yep.
So John Hanley, head in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Damascus High grad. He chops it to third. Long throw, but Lett is there with the reach to make the grab. And 3 up, 3 down, an easy inning for Russell Hall. So after 7 complete innings of play, it's 6-3, the Raptors trailing. And we'll be right back with the top half of the 8th inning after this.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, flexible scheduling, over 130 programs of study, award-winning faculty, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner Marcus Rosano, and we are all set to get the top half of the 8th inning underway. Brennan Karn back out there for the Raptors. No changes in the defensive set for the Raptors. As I tell you what, we're getting down to it here, Marcus.
Yeah, we're in the 8th and the 9th here, and that 6 in the second is really holding up for the Gators, and you got to hand it to Russell Hall. He's just been around the plate. He hasn't made mistakes. You know, he's hasn't really struck out a lot of guys, but he's making MC put the bat in the ball. And like we talked about at the end of that inning, where you have their third baseman, I mean, they're beating it down into the third baseman, and he's making the plays.
So, number 7, Julian Grant leading off for Thomas Nelson. He's been up 4 times today, and he is 1 for 4. Scored a run in that big second inning. Last time up, he struck out.
And just had a nice play in right field.
Beautiful shot there of Brendan Karn from our handheld camera operator there, Paul Steinitz.
You know, it's interesting. By that view, you'd think we're up in New England somewhere, in New Hampshire or Vermont with all those pines, but no, we are on a hill in Germantown, Maryland.
So our handheld guy there, Paul Steinitz, a graduate of Montgomery College and the television program. He worked with us, and he just about got killed there by a foul ball. It bounced right over his head.
And he did not flinch, but
Nope.
he didn't see it, but he did not flinch.
He held that shot. Good shot of Paul.
Paul, while you're there, you should probably keep your head down.
Give that man a helmet. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, top of the 8th inning. Raptors trailing 6-3. And swing and a miss, strike 3. So another strikeout for Karn.
You know, Michael, as we were, making fun of Paul of almost getting hit with a foul ball, but we haven't talked about tooting MCTV's horn as more Telly Awards have come the station's way. How about that?
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. The station recently won 4 Telly Awards for athletic broadcasts.
That is correct.
We're pretty excited about that. The Telly is a pretty big deal in our industry, and we're very proud. And it's a team effort, and we want to thank everybody on our team for contributing.
And we won one for volleyball coverage, and one for soccer. And of course, I know that you're a little humble, but you do the Raptor Report, which is an awesome. I mean, you're talking about a junior college program and junior college athletics that has a sports center like production, and that's the Raptor Report. And you, Michael Brown, congratulations for producing the Raptor Report. And the 4th Telly is for the Tom Bickey Memorial segment or piece that you did as well. So I know you're pretty humble, but congratulations to you as well.
Well, there's a lot of people I couldn't do it without. There's just no way. And one guy's talking in my ear right now. His name is Scott Youngblood. So would not be possible without the team effort at MCTV.
and Scott Youngblood, you're right. And we hear him a lot in our ear, but he doesn't get his name mentioned enough because he does an awesome job.
Guy's amazing. But the whole team is amazing. It is an absolute team at Montgomery College Television. There's a number. That's going to be trouble. Karn gets over, though, nicely. Nice play by Brennan Karn.
Yeah.
Nice play by Brooks Carson.
You see, and here's another thing. Now that we've captured that perfectly played, covering of first base by the pitcher and the pitch, now you can play that over and over on how it's supposed to be done. And there it is, and perfect timing.
Textbook, great shots.
Nice play.
Very nicely done. So 2 up and 2 down quickly here in the top of the 8th, and that brings up Sewer again. And he hits a fly ball out to the left. And Durkin got it for the 3rd out of the inning. So Brendan Karn, once again, very effectively mows down the Gators 1, 2, 3. So after 7.5 innings of play, the Raptors still trailing 6-3. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll be right back with the bottom of the 8th. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
Okay, look at this graphic. Because it's time to start thinking about registering for upcoming classes at Montgomery College. Here's something to keep in mind. You have to sign up by 11:59 p.m. the day before the class starts. Now I know some of you are thinking, I know someone who'll hook me up and I'll be able to scoot in after the deadline. Not anymore. On time by 11:59 is exactly what it sounds like. Do you have 30 credits or more? Good. You can get priority registration, so you can sign up a full week before everyone else, helping you complete your academic program right on schedule. Don't wait till the last minute. Register early to apply for financial aid, meet with advisors, and get your books. Beat the deadline. Register for classes at Montgomery College on time by 11:59.
And we are back at the Germantown campus. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Chris Heckhouse in against Russell Hall. First pitch of the inning is outside for a ball. So, you and I were talking during the break, Marcus. The way the ebb and flow of this game is going, you kind of get the feeling this needs to be the inning for the Raptors with the top of the order up.
And, it's not the customary top of the order. A couple of weeks ago we were saying something different because it was Pino and Coleman and then everybody else. But they're not here right now. They're sitting on the bench because they're injured, and now it's Heckhouse and Spilly. And we've seen what Spilly can do. So we need to see Heckhouse get on base. And then they'll decide what they want to do with Spilly if he gets to the plate with the guy on.
Well, you made the comment they're going to just roll the ball up when Spilly comes up.
Especially if there's nobody on base for him.
Yeah. They're not going to give him much to hit. And if anybody's on, forget it. He's not going to see a thing. There's a hard ground ball. Look at that stop by Backer. And they got him.
What
a
play.
Wow.
Man, not only has he been accepted to VCU, but he's got a heck of a highlight right now.
Man, that's the defensive play of the game there.
And that's a huge at-bat because if Heckhouse gets on, you have your big stick at the plate, and then you have Gus Gill following him, and darn well they didn't want to give Spilly anything. So you could have had 2 guys on with Gus Gill being the tying run. So a huge play by Backer.
Huge play.
Man.
Keeps the leadoff guy off the bases. Spilly now comes up with the bases empty. So we'll see what develops, but that sure looms large. Spilly hits it hard again. This one to center field. It's deep, but it's in the ballpark, and it's hauled in by Sewer for the 2nd out of the inning.
Just a tiny bit under that ball.
Boy, he just missed that one.
And that quick, two very loud outs.
2 very loud outs. That one was just a couple of feet from the wall there by Spilly, the deepest part of the ballpark, and that brings up Gill with the bases empty.
2 loud outs, but I'll tell you what, Hall will take 4 more of those.
Oh, yeah. And I'm just wondering, I would assume the way he's throwing that they're probably going to bring him back out for the 9th.
Absolutely.
Gus Gill.
I mean, he's your number 1 pitcher, and at this level, if there's a guy that's a relief pitcher who's any better than him, he'd be a starter. We'd be seeing him.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And there is 0 action in the Thomas Nelson bullpen, so I think that kind of tells us what we need to know. Unless something develops here, stranger things have happened with 2 outs in an inning. We've seen plenty of 2-out rallies during our time of calling MC baseball, so anything is possible, and certainly Gus Gill capable of causing some trouble. There's a pop-up to third. Backert just into left field, hauls it in for the 3rd out. So 3 up, 3 down for the Raptors in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So we are all set for the top of the 9th. The Raptors trailing 6-3. We'll be right back with it after this quick break. You're watching Montgomery College Baseball on MCTV.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, over 130 programs of study, seamless transfer options, state-of-the-art facilities, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Apply today.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Get a good shot there. Brennan Karn getting his last warm-up tosses in before the top of the 9th inning. The Raptors trailing 6-3. And it all boils down to what happened in that 2nd inning when, as they say, Thomas Nelson put up a crooked number. And it has stood up to this point.
It really has, and Russell Hall has been lights out. He ran into some trouble in the 5th, and he gave up a run in the 3rd. His defense has been fantastic behind him. The third baseman we talk about, Backert, who just made a fantastic play in the inning before, and he caught the pop-up to end the 8th inning.
There's a ground ball to our third baseman, Stuart Paz, a long throw, and a nice scoop there by Brooks Carson at first to get the out.
Ooh, that's a great play by Brooks Carson. That was a hard hop. And that wasn't even a backhanded hop. A forehanded hop is even harder than a backhanded hop.
Let's get a look at that one. Beautiful.
And he didn't even do an ole. He actually kept his head down.
Yeah, he kept his head right on the ball. And talking about Teddy Backert, and here he is up to the plate. Boy, what a third base he has played today.
Well, he can, with a nice base hit here, he can really, stamp his name on this ball game.
Well, he's got 2 hits, a couple of RBIs.
I guess you can say he's already stamped his name.
Also got on when he was hit by a pitch, so he's been on 3 of the 4 times he's been up to the plate, and he's got 2 ribbies to boot, and he's played a flawless third base. And he swings through that one. So, and this is, of course, the guy we were talking about earlier that does all the commuting, and obviously a very motivated kid. So
4.0 grade point average and a heck of a ball player. It's a nice combination.
He fouls it off. So Brendan Carr now into his 5th inning of work. And he replaced Sam Scheinman in the 4th inning, and he's put up nothing but zeros since then. He has certainly done his job.
Definitely. Brennan Karn has he's been a really bright spot for this Raptors team today.
There's a single into left field. So I'll tell you what, Teddy Backert has had a day.
Yes, he has, and that was a nice hit, and he just hung in there on the curveball. The slow curve came right into his wheelhouse, and he just dropped the bat head and puts it out into left field.
Nice piece of hitting there. We get a good look at it. And so Backert now with his 3rd hit of the day, and that brings up number 22, Julian White. And he beats it into the dirt. Paz goes to second for what? Oh.
And
And
Peguero tried to turn it before he caught the ball.
They are calling it an out at second base. They're saying that he held the ball long enough.
And at first glance, I think that's not even close. I think that's not an out.
Let's see it. He did drop it on the transfer.
Yes, he did. Oh,
So-
well. But, hey, we're the home team. We'll take it.
So fielder's choice for White. That makes it 2 outs now, and that brings up Hertzler. He's walked a couple of times.
It would have been hard for Peguero to turn it against who's that, Sewell on first?
No, it's White,
Had
number
White.
22, Julian White,
Yep.
who has pretty good speed
Yeah.
also. And that was what he was trying to do, was make that real quick turn. And, of course, Peguero is a natural shortstop, so that's a little bit of a
It is.
weird transition for him to make that play at second base.
It is. You got to straddle the bag and then kind of come off at a totally opposite angle. You're going from one side to the other. The turn from the shortstop is easier. I'm sorry. It's much easier because you're going towards first base.
Your momentum is carrying you in that direction, yeah. So there's a pop-up to left. Actually, Peguero out in shallow right to make the catch and for the 3rd out. So we're going to keep it right here as we get ready for the ultimate inning here, the bottom of the 9th. Raptors trailing 6-3. I'll tell you what, Brennan Karn has earned himself a gold medal for today's efforts as he's held Thomas Nelson down, put nothing but goose eggs up there, but it's all up to the Raptors bats now, and they're going to be facing Russell Hall, who's going to be trying to pitch a 9-inning complete game. That's something you don't see a whole lot of at this level.
Complete game, and it's against a team that they actually just got back from New York against the number 2 team in the country. They played Sullivan. I mean, these are real good baseball teams that MC is playing this year. And this young man comes all the way out from Newport News or Williamsburg or Hampton area. I guess you call it the Tidewater area. And here he is, 3 outs away from throwing a complete game.
Yep, he's from Smithfield, Virginia, and he has pitched very, very well today. Other than Mitch Spilley and his 2-run homer and the run the Raptors tacked on there in the 3rd, he has held the Raptors at bay. And Brooks Carson is certainly an embodiment of that. He is 0 for 3 on the day, 2 strikeouts, and a fly out to right field.
I'll tell you what, 3 outs. They're 3 outs away from having one heck of a cool bus ride home.
Well, they had some trouble getting up here. They had some bus issues on the way up, but they did make it, and they have played very well. So Brooks Carson leading it off here. Going to try to get something going for the Raptors. Jerry Chevrolet is on deck, and then he'll be followed by Eddie Peguero. So,
and Brooks Carson is very due just to get on base.
He's played a great first base today.
He has.
And he takes a strike. So he's quickly behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Made some very fine plays at first. We just saw one last inning on that scoop. He keeps it alive by catching a piece of it.
Hall doesn't waste any time. As soon as the batter gets set in the box, he's coming.
No, he's a very efficient worker.
I mean, he's ready right now, and he's waiting for that umpire signal, and off he goes.
And Carson hits it hard to left. It's going. It is gone. Into the trees. A home run for Brooks Carson.
Yeah, there was no doubt about that, Michael Brown. That looked to be a hanging curveball. And Brooks Carson had his eye down on it, and off it went. We've seen that power.
Boy, that was a long home run. No doubt about it. Shot from Brooks Carson. And, of course, that cuts the lead to 6-4. So the Raptors not quite ready to go quietly off into the night.
Man, that was one of those 118 moon shots.
Boy, that got out of here in a hurry. Left fielder basically just waved at it. Took a couple of steps. And there you could see Hall ready to pitch, and before he even got the signal that time. He is eager.
He wants this 3 outs. And now Chavarria is messing with him a little bit, showing bunt. And we know Jerry's not going to lay one down right here.
He is 1 for 3 on the day. A single and 2 ground outs. So he wants to keep it going here for the Raptors. Nobody out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Raptors trailing 6-4. They edged a little closer on a leadoff home run from Brooks Carson. There's a hard hit ball to center field, but right at the center fielder by Jerry Chevalier. Hit it right on the nose, but right at the center fielder. He only had to take a couple of steps.
You know, they've been on a couple of balls that have gone straight to the outfielders. Haven't found the gaps today.
Get another look at that. Got the bat head on the ball, right to the center fielder, though. So Eddie Peguero up now. And he had an infield signal and a ground out and a fly out. So he is 1 for 3 on the day. And he would like nothing better than to get on base any way he can. Two balls, 1 strike. On deck for the Raptors, number 21, Matt Durkin.
Pressing a little bit, I see in Hall's face. You know, he's probably trying to overthrow a little bit. I'm sure he's tired, so he needs to really get a little bit more behind him because he thinks his velocity's down.
Well, it's his ball game to win or lose as he walks Peguero, because there is no action right now in the bullpen.
Well, you know, you're right. It's his game to lose or win.
And I don't see Chad Smith making any moves towards sending somebody out to the bullpen. So he has put this game squarely on the shoulders of Russell Hall with Matt Durkin up, Eddie Peguero on first. Peguero walked with 1 out. And Durkin is 0 for 3 on the day, a strikeout and a couple of flyouts. He's one who's hit the ball on the button. Last time up, he hit it hard to right field, but it was run down by the right fielder. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Eddie Peguero on first. Raptors trailing 6-4. And that's high. Durkin was very tempted. Meanwhile, Russell Hall still throwing hard.
He is. You know, I wonder if he walks, for instance, if he does walk the bases loaded, does Coach Smith go for it and let him pitch because even if he can't find the plate?
And there's a strike.
But at this point, you're right. He's not warming anybody up. So.
No, and I just looked over there. He looks very relaxed, Chad Smith, very casual in the bullpen. I don't see any sense of urgency there.
No, this is probably it.
He's laying it on the line with Russell Hall, who has pitched very well today. There's Durkin, hits a fly ball to left. Left fielder runs in and drops it. He dropped the ball off his glove. And So Durkin is on through an error, and that puts Peguero on second. Of course, he had to hold up because it looked like a routine fly ball.
It really did. I think C.J. Landrum actually took his eye off the ball to see where the runner on first had gone. And that's obviously an error, but I just think he picked his head up a little bit. I mean, that runner on first base means nothing.
No,
I mean, and Landrum knows that. He's out there. He's as upset as anybody out here right now.
He certainly is. Now that brings up Stuart Paz. Now all of a sudden things are getting interesting as the Raptors have 2 on with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth. And Paz is 0 for 3. And Hall's first pitch is outside. Hall for the first time showing a little bit of stress. A little upset with himself. Wanted that ball back very quickly. Didn't like that pitch. Outside. Ooh, that time he caught the corner.
You know, and Durkin can run a little bit, so if Paz can find a gap, we might be looking at a 6-6 game.
Peguero's certainly a good runner. And there's Paz, base hit, left field. And they're going to hold the runner at third as the left fielder, Landrum, got to it very quickly. Landrum now, I think, feels even worse. He's got his hands up by his head, and bases are loaded. And here comes Michael Moore, the assistant coach, out to talk to Russell Hall. There's still nobody throwing in the bullpen.
Well, it's nice to see that Landrum actually did make that play, because if his head is hanging too low, that ball gets by him. It is 6-6.
Yeah, it is 6-6. So we've got the bases loaded now for John Hanley. 1 out, bottom of the ninth inning, and conference on the mound.
And we saw crazy things happen in the bottom of the ninth inning against the College of Southern Maryland on Thursday night here.
So Michael Moore, the assistant coach for the Gators, has had his chat. And I think it was more about what are we going to do in certain situations than it was concern about Russell Hall's pitching. So John Hanley up. He has a single, and he's 1 for 3 on the day. A single, he flew out to center and grounded to third. So
I think we're going to get a pinch runner.
And here comes number 16. That's Desmond Leidy. He's going to come in and run for Durkin. So
he put some wheels as the tying run on second base.
Leidy has not played too much this year, only 13 at bats, but obviously Dan Rasher has a lot of confidence in his base running ability here. So John Hanley, one of the big hitters for the Raptors, with a big opportunity. And he takes strike 1.
That's about the best pitch that you're going to get
Boy,
right now.
That is for
from
sure.
Hall. And John wanted to swing at that thing so bad.
And I'm sure he had the take sign.
Nope.
There's a ball.
Curveball a little down.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Raptors with the bases loaded. They have trailed the entire game up to this point.
And John's hard to double off because he can really run.
He's a good runner. A base hit here would make things very interesting. There's the pitch. Down low again. That was close.
And Hall just puts his head up in the air and says, "What are you doing to me, Blue?"
So 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out.
And John Hanley says, "I knew the ball was down."
And ball 4, and that walks in a run. A bases loaded walk scores Eddie Peguero, and that cuts the lead to 1 run now to 6-5. So Peguero scores. Of course, that walk that allowed Peguero to get on base comes back to haunt him. There's Heckhouse with a ground ball. It gets past Paz. The tying run scores. I'm sorry, by Backer. as Backert could not field it cleanly. It was a hard hit ground ball by Chris Heckhouse.
I think he caught that with his knee.
Yeah, he came up limping there.
Yeah, and it was a hard hit ball, so he basically saved the game by staying in front of the ball. Now the game is tied.
As Lighty scores.
I mean, Hanley lit that ball up.
And that brings up Mitch Spilley, men on first and second. 2 out.
Game.
There is a base hit, and the Raptors have won the ball game. As John Hanley comes in to score, as Mitch Spilley hits a single, a walk-off single, and the Raptors put up 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to pull this one out 7-6 over a very stunned and very disappointed Thomas Nelson Community College baseball team. And, you can't help but feel a little bit sorry for Thomas Nelson here. They played so well today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they really wanted this game. This was a big game to them. They played great, but the Raptors are the Raptors. They're Montgomery College. It's the big-time baseball program, and you can't keep these bats down for long. And there you see a 4 spot in the bottom of the 9th inning and a 7-6 victory.
Wow, as Brennan Karn is going to be your winning pitcher, and as he just went through the handshake line, he looks like he's about 12 years old, but
he's a young-looking
he
guy.
is standing tall today as he pitched 5 shutout innings to pick up the win for the Raptors. Mitch Spilley drives in the winning run. Mitch Spilley also with a 2-run home run today. So what a comeback win for Montgomery College.
And we have to pick one at the end of this game, and I have there's a lot of guys that could be the player of the game, but I think we're going to have to give it to Brennan Karn because he really settled everybody down as the player of the game, and what an awesome pitching performance by this young guy from right down the street in Northwest High School.
Boy, I'm looking at his picture. He looks younger than I thought he did. I mean, but what a job. He was a man on the hill today as he, Thomas Nelson puts up a 6 spot in the 2nd inning, and then all you see for the rest of the scoreboard for Thomas Nelson is zeros, and that's because of Brendan Karn, who came in. Keep in mind, this was a kid who was not feeling well yesterday. He went home sick, and they weren't even sure he would play today. And what's he do? He comes in and pitches shutout ball to get the win for the Raptors with a big assist from Mitch Spilley with a 2-run homer, and then the game-winning single in the bottom of the 9th, and then of course Brooks Carson with that leadoff home run here in the bottom of the 9th. And the hard luck loser for Thomas Nelson is Russell Hall, who really did not deserve the fate that befell him.
No, that young man is a bulldog on the mound, and he pitched hard, and he pitched a great game. And hats off to the Thomas Nelson Community College baseball team. They made a long trip from down there in the Tidewater area, and they played a great game, but they represented really, really well. I'm very proud of watching this game today, and, of course, the home team wins. So, great day.
Big win for Montgomery College. They wrap it up with a 4-run rally in the bottom of the 9th to pull it out 7-6. For my partner, Marcus Rosano, for everyone on the hard-working MCTV production crew, we want to thank you so much for watching Montgomery College baseball on MCTV.